So, how does one of the world's most legendary car makers plan for the future? Well, if you're Mercedes-Benz, you don't just pick one path. Nope, you make a double bet on two completely different, almost opposing visions of what's next. Let's get into it. So check this out. In 2026, Mercedes is dropping two massive flagships. One is an all-electric beast with over 1,300 horsepower, designed to just completely rewrite the rules of performance. The other, it's the next evolution of its most iconic luxury sedan, still proudly rocking a giant V12 engine. Now, you might think that sounds like a contradiction, but it's not. It's a strategy. And it tells us pretty much everything we need to know about the crossroads the entire auto industry is staring at right now. All right, first up, let's talk about the revolution. This is the 2026 Mercedes-AMG GT 4-door EV. And let me tell you, this thing is an absolute statement piece, a purpose-built electric predator. Let's just start with the headline number, shall we? Confirmed power output is over 1,300 horsepower. That's not just fast for an electric car, that is way, way deep into hypercar territory. This is basically AMG's way of proving their electric future is going to be anything but quiet. And what does all that power actually get you? Well, a rumored 0 to 60 or 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in under 2.5 seconds. That's the kind of acceleration that genuinely, and I mean literally, recalibrates your perception of what speed feels like. But, raw speed isn't the only part of the story here. This number, 850 kilowatts, that's its potential charging speed. That is insanely fast. We're talking, in theory, adding about 400 kilometers of range in just 5 minutes. So this isn't just about performance, it's about tackling one of the biggest headaches for EV owners, charging time. So how in the world are they doing all this? Well, the answer lies in the core tech, axial flux motors. Think of these as the next generation of electric motors. They're smaller, they're lighter, and they pack a much, much bigger punch for their size. This is the secret sauce that lets AMG get so much power without adding a ton of weight, which, as you know, is the ultimate enemy of performance. So when you put it all together, what you're looking at is a clear blueprint for electric dominance. You've got a dedicated 800-volt platform, that insane tri-motor power output, and a battery system with cooling tech that's literally inspired by Formula One. Every single piece of this car is engineered for one thing: maximum, unadulterated performance. And this is all built on what they call the AMG EA platform. And this part is absolutely critical. This isn't some gas car that they've just stuffed batteries into. No, it was designed from a totally clean sheet of paper to be a high-performance EV. And that allows for perfect weight distribution, a super low center of gravity, and it's engineered to deliver that crazy power again and again on a track without overheating, which is a total must-have for a true AMG. Okay, so AMG is clearly betting that the future of high-end performance is electric, and it's brutally, ridiculously fast. But is that the only future Mercedes is betting on? Is warp speed acceleration the only way to define a true flagship experience? Now let's flip the coin over and look at the other side of this strategy. We're going from revolution to evolution. This is the story of how Mercedes is carefully, almost respectfully, updating its most legendary model, the S-Class. And really, you just can't overstate the importance of this car. Like Car and Driver says here, the S-Class is the very bedrock of the brand's reputation for luxury and tech. For decades, this car has been the benchmark that every other luxury sedan is measured against. And for its 2026 refresh, the whole strategy is about choice. You've got efficient 6-cylinders, powerful V8s, advanced plug-in hybrids, and then there's the big one. In an age where everyone's downsizing and going electric, Mercedes has confirmed that the magnificent 621 horsepower V12 is not going anywhere. It's sticking around because, for a certain kind of buyer, there is nothing that can match its turbine-like smoothness. It is the absolute pinnacle of an era. And this one little detail just perfectly captures the car's entire philosophy. Even the design updates are about blending the old with the new. The new headlights have this subtle 3-pointed star motif inside them. It's a little nod to its incredible heritage, while still pushing forward with the latest tech. It's a really careful balancing act, modernizing an icon without losing its soul. So we've seen two very different cars with two very different hearts, a revolutionary electric motor and a legendary V12. But have you ever stopped to wonder, where do the ideas for these things actually come from? Who decides what's going to power the cars of the future? Well, to understand that, we need to go behind the scenes. We need to peek into the B2B world of automotive engineering. This is what you might call the industry's engine room, where the fierce debates about the future of cars happen long before anything ever hits a showroom floor. You know, when you see a car on the road, you're really only seeing the final product. Behind it is this massive, incredibly complex ecosystem of engineers, designers, suppliers, and researchers all working on, and frankly, arguing about what the next big breakthrough in powertrain tech is going to be. And a central hub for this whole world are publications like Automotive Powertrain Technology International. This is where the debate happens in real time. One article might be all about the power density of actual flux motors, and the very next one might make a case for keeping V12s alive with synthetic fuels. This isn't just theory, it's the intellectual battlefield where the future is being decided. So, who exactly is in this room where all this happens? Well, as you can see, over half the people reading and contributing here work directly for the car manufacturers themselves, the OEMs, or their main suppliers. These are the people who are actually building the cars and the core parts that go into them. And here is why this behind-the-scenes world matters so much. A staggering 70% of the people involved here are the final decision makers. They're the ones signing off on which technologies get funded and which ones actually make it into production cars. They use these forums to find the exact solutions that will end up in cars like that new AMG and the S-Class. So the big takeaway here is this. The choice between a radical new motor and a classic V12 isn't just made in a Mercedes boardroom. It's the end result of this huge global industry debate. And what Mercedes is doing is basically bringing that entire complex discussion to life in its dealerships for you to choose from. Which brings us right back to Mercedes. Now that we've seen the two cars and the industry humming along behind them, we can finally understand why one of the world's most successful brands is so clearly walking two different paths at the exact same time. And this really just sums it all up perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you have pure revolution, the AMG GT EV. It's a radical leap, a huge bet on an electric future. And on the other side, you have pure evolution, the S-Class. It's all about honoring a legacy built on combustion, perfecting the formula, and continuing to offer that iconic V12 experience. And at the end of the day, this isn't about being indecisive. It is a deeply strategic move for a really pivotal moment in history. Mercedes is aggressively investing in the technology that's going to define its next 100 years, while at the same time continuing to serve the customers and honor the legacy that made it who it is today. They are absolutely trying to have their cake and eat it too. It is a bold and I'm sure incredibly expensive gamble that just perfectly captures the tension of the entire automotive world right now. And it leaves us with one massive question. As one brand places its chips on both revolution and evolution, which of these two paths will ultimately define the future of the flagship car and the road ahead for all of us?